I will no longer be intimidated.
Running code 3. 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 Running code 3.
Little Moose recommends keeping your hands and feet inside, your hard hat on, because it's about to hit the fan.
Goddamn son of a bitch! Goddamn son of a bitch! Goddamn son of a bitch! Son of a bitch!
Your Honor, I'll admit that based on the testimony, it does appear as though the state has a problem.
Yes, that is the tool.
Let's zoom in on the important thing.
Shame on you, Terry Mitchell.
Well, I said, yeah, I don't know why you're treating me like this.
You asked him that.
Yes, well, I said that. I don't know why you're treating me like this. Can I call 911 and talk to someone rational? This is crazy. And he said, I am the police.
Let's zoom in on the important thing.
And I told him what happened, and he was like, oh, that was probably Mitchell. He was like, was it Mitchell? I was like, I don't know. I don't know who it was, but I just cannot believe what just happened to me. And how rude he was. And treated me like a stupid idiot. And then was super excited about towing my car.
In my opinion, that is abuse of power.
Let's zoom in on the important thing.
Your Honor, I'll admit that based on the testimony, it does appear as though the state has a problem.
And little Mitch, okay, our little Mitch here,
make Steve Lake's signs disappear. And you don't have to comment on that and say you're not associated with it or anything. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying if them disappeared, that might be something. I'm just telling you. I'm not asking you to do anything.
and little Mitch, okay, our little Mitch here, let's zoom in on the important thing. Really? Our boy little Mitch is on the ball, ain't he?
now, talk about another run. 120 and a 25 to have more fun. We got a hostage situation.
Goddamn son of a bitch! You rot in hell! Son of a bitch! Now you get the son of a bitch out of there!
Let's zoom in on the important thing.
Yes, that is the tool. Well, I said, yeah, I don't know why you're treating me like this.
You asked him that.
Yes, well, I said that. I don't know why you're treating me like this. Can I call 911 and talk to someone rational? This is crazy. And he said, I am the police.
Oh.
Talking about somebody that's on their own time as a private citizen. Talking about somebody that's on their own time as a private citizen.
Well, goddamn, you still don't understand. What's the net saying? You can't kill us, you can't kill us. What's the 4 words we translating? You can't kill us, you can't kill us. We're in church, what would we be praying? You can't kill us, you can't kill us. Well, goddamn, you still don't understand.
So we've got two pictures here of two clowns. Now one of these is an imposter. One of these is not a real clown. So by just looking at this picture, could you tell me which one is the imposter? Which one is not a real clown?
Obviously, it's the one on the left.
Now just to make sure there's no confusion, could you please put an X over the picture of the imposter over the fake clown?
There's no doubt that that's not the clown.
You can't tell lies, you can't tell lies. 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 You can't tell lies, you can't tell lies.
Could you please tell me, when did those signs go up?
The signs went up on April 27th, 2019. My son put them up for me.
So could you please tell me, why did both those signs come down?
I received a call on my home phone from Cop Terry A. Mitchell on June 5th, 2019 at 7:21 a.m.
So could you please tell me what the context of that phone call that you personally took from Cop Terry A. Mitchell on June 5th of 2019?
He stated to me, "Steve, I'm going to cite you for a zoning violation today for the signs in your front yard." He then stated, in my opinion, with strong intimidation in his voice, that he will continue to cite me with the same zoning violation every day that the signs are up. Because of the way he talked to me, it was very intimidating to me. So I immediately went outside to my front yard and took the signs down. Even though I knew it was my First Amendment right to have them up, they were approved by my attorney before they were put up.
Well, goddamn, you still don't understand. Well, goddamn, you still don't understand. Well, goddamn, you still don't understand.
Well, did you in fact get a violation after you took down both of those signs?
Yes, shortly thereafter, both my wife and I each received a zoning violation, which was unspecified as to what exact violation was. I can only assume that the violation were from the signs in my front yard and the phone call that I had received from Cop Terry Mitchell on June 5th 2019 at 7:21 a.m.
So what did those actions cause you and your wife to do after you received those violations?
My wife and I had to get an attorney to fight these bogus charges. Ultimately, as it went through the court system, all charges were thrown out. So that makes me wonder why they got past the prosecutor and the charges were allowed to go further. Something sure sounded corrupt to me. These bogus charges cost my family $1,000 in attorney fees.
So after your successful win of your First Amendment rights, what did you do?
Them signs went back up immediately and they will stay up. I will no longer be intimidated by Terry A. Mitchell.
They're against zoning. They're against zoning. They're against zoning. Make Steve Lake's signs disappear. And you don't have to comment on that and say you're not associated with or anything. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying if them disappeared, that might be something. I'm just telling you. I'm not asking you to do anything. Make Steve Lake's signs disappear. And you don't have to comment on that and say you're not associated with or anything. I'm just telling you. I'm just saying if them disappeared, that might be something. I'm just telling you. I'm not asking you to do anything.
Well, goddamn, you still don't understand. Just keep trying. You can't do it. Even if you had the balls, it wouldn't happen. No artillery in the world will do it. Nothing can stop us. Spill it.
Is it true Cop Mitchell falsely arrested you and took you into custody without you being told you were under arrest or being detained?
Yes, that is true. It was actually the first time I met Cop Mitchell. He pulled into the neighbor's driveway while I was in my driveway pumping water out of my driveway into my yard. He came over to question me about it, and after a couple of minutes he told me that he was going to write me a citation. He asked me to come over, get in the police car while he wrote me the citation. Next thing I know, he's backing out of the driveway. I thought he was just going to pull into my driveway. Well, he didn't. He started heading uptown, and I asked him what he was doing. He then said that I was under arrest. Well, we went uptown. He took me to the jail. He put me in a holding cell where I sat for 10-15 minutes, brought me out of there, said that he was going to write me a citation for disorderly conduct. Next thing I know, my neighbor shows up, and he wants me and my neighbor to shake hands. I told him I had no problems with the neighbor. The neighbor told him that he wasn't shaking my hand. So he said, we're just going to call this a done deal. And about that time, my wife arrived because she found out what was going on, and she came up and she had to give me a ride home.
At that incident, were you read your rights prior to Cop Mitchell taking you in the squad car and driven to the police station?
At no time was I ever read my rights. During his questioning here at my residence, or when he questioned me up at the station.
Now I'm wondering, weren't the handcuffs put on you that would make you believe that you were under arrest when he put you in the car?
No, at no time was I ever handcuffed, and that's what I didn't understand on the way up to town, because I never once got handcuffed or informed that I was under arrest until our way up to town.
Now, did you seek the advice of an attorney after what you said was a false arrest because of the fact that Cop Mitchell never told you prior to entering the cruiser, the police cruiser, that you were being detained and arrested, and it was only after the fact that you were in the car on your way up to town that he told you you were being arrested?
Yes, I did speak with an attorney about this. He told me it was a clear case of false arrest. But when I found out how much it would cost to retain him to handle this case, I could not afford it. Me and my family just could not afford that kind of money.
Have you ever had any other issues with this cop named Mitchell? Or was this a one-time thing?
I have had many issues stemming from Cop Mitchell.
In the past, no matter where you have lived, have you had issues with any other police officer like you have had with Cop Mitchell?
Absolutely none.
Now, you have actually said that you were refused representation of an attorney at trial once. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Our attorney had filed a motion for continuance and it was denied. So he told us to make sure that we did go to trial on that date. When trial started, the magistrate asked if we were ready to continue, and I told him that I did not want to proceed without legal representation. He said, then what you're asking for is a continuance. And I said, I'm just telling you I do not want to proceed without my legal representation. He said, yes, you're asking for a continuance and it is denied. The same thing happened with my wife and son. In my opinion, that was just a way of denying me legal representation, which everybody is entitled to in the United States.
Okay, finally, what has been the feedback of the signs that you put up into your yard?
I've had nothing but positive feedback.
every person is backing me 100% on these signs. I've been out working in my yard where I've had people stop by to talk to me about them to find out what's going on. After I'm done telling them everything I've went through with Cop Mitchell, then they tell me their stories about what they've went through with Cop Mitchell. I'll be in public places at local businesses where people recognize me. They'll come up to me and ask me about the signs. When I explain to them what they're about, they also tell me of their own personal issues that they've had with Cop Mitchell and the trouble they've had. So there's been nothing but positive feedback, and everybody backs me 100% on these signs.
Well, I certainly want to thank you for the time that you've given me. When I saw these signs that you put up, I thought they were brilliant. You did a great job with the wording, and I'm so glad that you had an attorney make sure that these were legal, because anytime you do something, people have the right to protest peacefully, always peacefully. You have that right in the United States, and I'm so glad that you took that opportunity. And I want to thank you so much for the time you've given me so that people have a fuller understanding as to why these signs have been put up into your property.
Well, goddamn, you still don't understand.
An actual real police officer. Have you ever had a situation where you were treated in the manner, in the disrespect as you were with this guy?
No, never. I was so confused. It just seemed like it was personal. I've never met him before, but he was treating me as if I had done something and it was personal. He's getting back at me. But so strange. Never met him before in my life.
Okay, now I understand that you are the son of the gentleman who I interviewed that had those signs in his yard.
Yes, I am.
And I also understand that you and a friend put those signs up for your dad. Am I correct?
Yep, that is correct.
Now, as I understand it, you have personally been flipped off, that is, given the middle finger by Cop Terry Mitchell while he was on duty in his service vehicle. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct. And I also know several other people that have been flipped off by Cop Terry A. Mitchell.
Now, on how many occasions did this Cop Mitchell flip you off, if you recall?
It has happened on several occasions.
Now, Cop Terry Mitchell is also a chief of police, isn't he? And what is your opinion about a police officer, and especially a chief of police, that while in the line of duty or not on duty, but remember, he's a cop 24/7. So what's your opinion on all this?
My opinion is that he should act more professional in the community that he represents, and especially in the community that he represents, given the fact that he is a very known individual and is held to a very much higher standard than the average citizen.
Now, I understand it's not against the law for a citizen to flip another person off, nor a police officer, and a police officer can flip you off. It's not against the law. They have that right. But I have to ask you, would you respect any police officer, whether in his vehicle on duty or in his private vehicle? Would you respect that person, and would you trust anything they did?
No, I absolutely would not respect that person for doing that, and I would not trust anything that they did as it relates to reports and anything as it relates to the integrity of their work.
Now, as I understand it, you've had many issues with this cop, Terry Mitchell. There was one incident that you do want to talk about where supposedly he wrote a violation or some zoning thing and then changed it. Could you please just briefly tell us about that?
Yes, that is in fact true, and what basically happened is he had cited a zoning violation, and I went into court with my parents, who were the ones that received the violation, and we went to mediation to discuss and figure out what it was really all about. And I didn't have to go. I went upon my own volition to support them, and when we got there and got to the brass tacks of the matter, Cop Mitchell actually had said, "I don't really care about what I had cited you for. I just would like for you to get rid of that truck in your yard."
So what you're saying is, which the original zoning violation that he got you in there for isn't what he wanted to even discuss in mediation?
No, in fact, what I think he did was a bait and switch. Essentially what we went in there for, he said that he didn't really care about it, and he had us in there under false pretenses just to make an issue about something else.
That's very interesting. So, in your opinion, for a Mitchell to do this and being a chief, what's your opinion on that? What do you think about that tactic that Mitchell used to get your parents in?
In my opinion, that is abuse of power.
Now, these issues that you have had with Mitchell, what type were they?
They have all been zoning violation allegations.
Now, my question is, isn't there a zoning guy other than Mitchell that handles any zoning complaints?
Yes, there is, but as you've heard my dad say, Mitchell was the one that called him and instructed and told him that he would be citing him daily if he did not remove the signs from the yard. But I believe that Mitchell, he's always the one that makes sure it gets done. It's always done at his direction, despite the fact that there's someone appointed to this position.
Okay, I thank you for the interview. One last question. Have you personally had the issues that you have had with Cop Mitchell with any other police officer like you have? I mean, have you had issues with other police officers?
No, I have not. And in my opinion, this cop is abusing his power because he has a very unique position and has the opportunity to do some real good in this community, and he chooses not to. He chooses to do this to people and again, in my opinion, just abuse his power.
Well, goddamn, you still don't understand.
All right, I'm going to be talking to a gentleman today who had the, I guess we'll call it misfortune of having to deal with a cop. And his name is James. That's his real name. We're going to use his real name. He likes to be called Jimmy. So I just want to make sure, Jimmy, that you know I'm doing this for my YouTube channel. You're one of a few others that I'm interviewing, and this will be up on the internet. Are you okay? Do I have your permission then to use this this interview up on the internet where anybody would see it?
Yes.
goddamn son of a bitch! You rot in hell!
Shame on you, Terry Mitchell.
Really? Our boy Little Mitch is on the ball, ain't he? Little Moose says that she doesn't need to look through this telescope to see that Chief Terry Mitchell is an A